What's up everyone, Darcblade here with an information video breaking down all the information from the Monster Hunter World Iceborne Developer Diary Volume 1. Earlier today, producer Ryozu Tsuchimoto and his team put on a 20-minute presentation going over all sorts of new information from Monster Hunter World Iceborne. And in this video we hope to break down briefly what this information is all about. So first of all, they went on to show a new trailer for Monster Hunter World Iceborne featuring Gavurin. If you haven't done so already, I advise checking it out. It's somewhere else on the channel, or alternatively you can go to Capcom's or Monster Hunter's website and find it there. But whilst the trailer showed teasers at what the producer and directors were going to talk about during the presentation, it didn't go into great details. The details came after they had shown the trailer. First of all, they went on to talk about the new Gavurin Hub, which seems to be more accessible than our current Gavurin Hub in Monster Hunter World. Here you're able to take advantages of saunas, hot springs, and whilst not every facility is going to be available in the Gavurin Hub, as they will be sectioned off, the load times in between will be very short. For example, they demonstrated that you can go to the armory without having to go through a long load screen. From the Celiana Gavurin Hub, you can simply walk through a door and enter the Celiana armory that way. The accessibility of the Gavurin Hub was always a little bit of an issue for me personally. I felt that it was normally more beneficial to go to the main Estera town rather than the Gavurin Hub, as it normally saved time in regards to resources and using the other facilities in Estera. But what else was featured? Well, they said they have improved squad functions for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. You can now create sub-leaders, and you can even make a squad card, providing more information about your squad, and you're also able to give these out, similar to guild cards, to potential hunters who you would like to offer a place in your squad to. To be honest, the squad features have been something I've never really taken advantage of, but with Iceborne I may start doing this a little bit more. Anyway, they then went on to talk about balanced difficulty. They've already mentioned this in previous live streams and such, where the difficulty will scale depending on how many players you have in a hunt. The difficulty will be solo, 2 players, or 3 to 4 players. And depending if a player should leave or disconnect from a hunt, then the difficulty will adjust itself accordingly. And I for one really welcome these changes. They then went on to talk about new Palico Gadgets. Now, whilst not new Palico Gadgets per se, it was more new functions to the existing Palico Gadgets, at least from what they told and showed off during the presentation. For example, they showed off a new way to use the Shield Spire, which allowed your Palico to put up a decoy to attract monsters. They showed off a Roman candle of sorts for what I assume is the Meowlatov cocktail, damaging monsters in an AoE around the Palico, and they also showed off the revive function that the Vigoroth spray has now. Unfortunately, they didn't show off anything for the other Palico Gadgets, but it's going to be interesting to see what the future holds, especially if they do introduce an entirely brand new Palico Gadget. Anyway, they then went on to talk about multiplayer compatibility. Now, players who have upgraded to Monster World Iceborne will still be able to play with players who only have Monster Hunter World. However, they will only be able to take part in low and high rank quests together. Master rank will be locked out completely to players who don't own Iceborne, and all of Iceborne's new actions and such will only become available to Monster Hunter World players once they've actually purchased Iceborne. Anyway, they then went on to talk about your room in Celiana. This has received quite a bit of an upgrade, and they spent a lot of time talking about it. Your room has basically become almost like a sim-like house. You can customize certain aspects of it to make it entirely unique. The customization options, whether they be the beds, sofas, walls, windows, all of this can be pretty much customized. And these customization options are normally gained through quests or deliveries, so it's going to be great to see what players come up with. They also hinted at being able to invite other players to your room, but this feature unfortunately will be a post-launch feature, so at the moment it won't be available when Monster Hunter World Iceborne first releases. They then went on to talk about the view mode some more. They've already mentioned and gone into details about view mode, but once again it was nice seeing it in action. Basically, this allows players to take screenshots from angles that you can customize. And then finally, and for me, was the introduction of some new monsters. Now, debate aside to whether these are brand new or not, they are still new to Monster Hunter World. First of all, they showed off the Fulgor Anjanath, a tiger-striped alternative Anjanath that utilizes the thunder element rather than the fire element. This is a brand new subspecies that is going to be even more tougher than the standard Anjanath. They then went on to show the Ebony Adogaron. This black subspecies of Adogaron looked incredibly aggressive, and at first I thought it was inflicted with the Frenzy virus, which could have hinted at the return of Gormagala. but alas, it was using the dragon element in some of its attacks. And then finally they went on to show Glavenus, the returning brute wyvern who uses its tail like a greatsword. They did say they wanted to add a few new effects to Glavenus to make him stand out in Monster Hunter World from Monster Hunter Generations. But all in all, these 3 new additions to the game look awesome. And on top of that as well, towards the end of the trailer, there was a little hint of the return of Brachydios. But I'm sure more details on this flagship brute wyvern will become available when the next developer diary comes around in August. All in all, I'm glad to see that we're getting more information on Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and I cannot wait for its release in September. But anyway, what were your thoughts? Leave a comment down below, and until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you an information breakdown video regarding the Monster Hunter World Iceborne Developer Diary Volume 1. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.